What's up, everyone, and welcome back to an episode of Dead by Daylight, the Archive Hunter, storytelling. It's been a while since we heard any stories and stuff, but we've worked hard to get to the archive, so let's have some fun with some stories, and let's just have a nice, chillaxing day.
Hitting zero. That's why she returns to the forest time and time again. To let go of her anxieties, to let go of her problems, to take in the scent of fresh pine and let go of her conscious self. To let go of everything and listen to her muse. She's been out of touch with herself for a while, lost in a game to please everyone else except herself. Playing songs that don't come from her but are sure to please the masses. Music that doesn't even resonate with her. Playing songs for money, despite the warning. Play one song for money and kill your muse. She laughed when her mother first told her this. It seemed like a ridiculous thing to say. Her muse didn't seem to be going anywhere. She was hearing more songs in her head than she could play in a lifetime. Now, she's not laughing anymore. She's never felt so false and uninspired in her life, and more than ever she wants to reconnect with her music, her muse, herself. She closes her eyes and peels away the layers until her mind is empty and open to the great unknown.
Okay.
Kate strums her guitar freely, but nothing's coming to her. Just a dark, disturbing melody that's been returning to her every time she hits zero. A melody so unlike anything she's ever played that she doesn't know where the inspiration comes from. She's never played a tune so dark and yet so catchy. The harder she tries to push the ominous melody out of her mind, the stronger it gets, the more it demands to be written down. She wants the melody to stop, and yet it's all she hears around her, above her, below her, beside her, within her. One endless, foreboding melody, a melody that just isn't her. Or maybe it is her. Maybe the show pony routine has changed her, corrupted her, perhaps even crushed her, and if not her, the best part of her, her muse. She stops strumming, closes her eyes, pushes everything out of her mind, and begins a slow and patient countdown back to zero.
Well, I guess since you have an audience, they demand music and stuff, so it kind of really does mess with you, right?
She waits for an inspiration that never comes. Nothing except that lonely, ominous melody. The more she tries to strum something else, the louder it echoes in her mind. She stops for a long, silent moment, but the tune doesn't. She closes her eyes and tries to force it out of her mind, but it's not in her mind. It's coming from the cave. It can't be. She shakes her head. The tune fades as she returns to zero and tries one last time to connect with her muse, her real muse, regretting all the paid gigs that drove her further and further from who she was, who she really was. She closes her eyes and counts down. 5, she relaxes her toes. 4, she relaxes her legs. 3, she relaxes her torso. 2, her hands. 1, her lips, her nose, her face. 0, she silences her thoughts.
Alright.
3 hours and still nothing but that foreboding melody. More than anything, she wishes she had taken some time to realign herself and make sure she was spending her life's energy on something real and true to who she was. Instead, she squandered her life's energy on acts and routines and her piggy bank. That wasn't supposed to happen. Not to her. One of her inspirations was the great Woody Guthrie. Everything he wrote was true to who he was. Everything he did came from him, came from a real and pure place. She was like that at some point in her life. But now, Now she's performed more fluff than substance, and the guilt alone may have crushed her muse, her real muse, not this perverted version of a thing that has her strumming the loneliest and darkest tune she ever conceived. She prepares to count down, but sees a symbol on the ground before her, glowing and pulsing with the tune, pulsing like the heartbeat of some primordial ancient thing. She closes her eyes and opens them again, and the symbol is gone.
Anthony trying to contact her, I see.
Kate screams in the lonely, desolate forest. She wants that tune out of her head. It's annoying her, frustrating her, blocking her. Even when she stops strumming her guitar, the melody continues as though with a life of its own, coming from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. She focuses for a moment and realizes the melody is echoing out from the cave. She surrenders to her dark muse. She stands and stares at the cave and sees a pulsing light. She closes her eyes and feels that her mind's playing tricks on her. But she knows better. She knows she's always sensed and felt things others couldn't. She once heard someone say that today's shamans are our artists, authors, and musicians, that unlike other people they are capable of accessing other thoughts, worlds, and ideas from otherworldly realms. She always had that ability, but never like this. Never so dark. It's as if the universe is punishing her for squandering her gifts. She approaches the deep and ominous cave, wondering who or what is calling her. A vague memory tugs at her, tells her she's done this before. She has a sense that she knows what she's going to find, but somehow has forgotten.
Yikes. Also, I will have timestamps of these specific characters, so if you just want to know Kate's story, I'll have a timestamp and all that. But let's get on to the little cutscene. Oh dear. NC was coming for that ass, Kate. Alright. Damn. On to the next one.
Dawn bleeds across the craters and trenches and into the devastated forest. Explosions tear the ground. Mud rises and showers Anna. Men tumble headlong into open craters filled with rotting cadavers. Mangled human and horse flesh make a feast for rats. Other men are blasted to bits and pieces. Some drown in mud and blood. The brutal savagery of these human animals amuses Anna. She's never been so entertained. They are worse than hungry wolves fighting over a carcass. Some speak words she understands. Others speak words foreign to her ears. A pathetic scream like nothing she's heard suddenly startles her. She follows the source of the sound into the decimated forest, where she sees a small canvas tent and Russian soldiers guarding foreign prisoners. She watches them all evening. She watches horrified when they execute one of the horses for dinner. So much meat wasted due to sloppy butchery. After dinner, the Russians grab one of their foreign prisoners and crush his head with a shovel to pass the time. They laugh and make jokes. She watches them in the shadows and laughs silently. Not with them, at them. A shovel is clunky, the blows are awkward, the death messy. These men are neither fish nor meat. Her mother taught her better.
Yikes, I thought she was a prisoner, and then that happens. Apparently she's purely psychotic along with them. Yikes.
She was going to search for another pack of human animals, but something catches her eye. something that reminds her of her father, something perfect for her little Bushka. A gift. Anna hides in the shadows and fixes her gaze on the gift. The Russian soldier carves the gift as he guards and swears at foreign prisoners in the shredded canvas tent. They kill and torture each other because they cannot talk to one another. She remembers a book her mother once had. She pointed to the pictures and called them soldiers. They were the ones who butchered her father. Soldiers tear each other apart for reasons her mother could never explain. She watches them and doesn't understand. She's not sure they do either. Maybe they like the hunt, the scent of fear, the bloodlust. She stares at the perfect gift and wants to give them a little war they'll never forget. But there are too many, and her mother suddenly appears before her with a smile and tells her little Anna she will need to thin the ranks. I can do that. I will show you. I will show you, and I will show them where crawfish sleep.
Oh dear. I think this is the Huntress's story.
The Russian soldier does a peculiar thing to his prisoner. He ties him to a gnarled branch by his ankle and lights a fire a few inches under him. She scrunches her brow, confused. You kill the game before you roast it, but these soldiers enjoy his agony. She recognizes the yelling and shrieking foreigner. Just a few moons ago, he was torturing Russian prisoners in another tent. Just a few moons ago, he was the tormentor. The Russian holds the perfect gift in his hands while the prisoner shrieks and squeals like a pig. She smirks. It's kind of a funny cry. It is. It's amusing. The Russians make jokes and imitate the squealing cry. She fights down explosive laughter. It's the most ridiculous sound she's ever heard. The sound of an approaching soldier suddenly startles her. She wheels to see a glittering bayonet rushing her. She evades and grabs the pathetic scrawny man by the neck, curls her calloused fingers around his bulging apple, and yanks with devastating fury. With a choked gurgle, he collapses and lies dead on the ground with his throat torn out. She returns her attention to the laughing Russians and the squealing human swine. She smiles. They'll all be making similar sounds when she's through with them.
Yeah, man, go get those fucking soldiers, Huntress.
4 Russian soldiers lurk around the tent searching for their missing comrade. Anna stealthily tracks one soldier, inching closer and closer with every step. Poor pea-green mule. He has no sense these will be his last few breaths. She watches him for a long moment, then strategically steps on a twig. The crack makes him turn, but before he meets Anna's gaze, her axe splits his nose between the eyes, smashing his teeth and severing his tongue. She covers his bloody mouth with her hand as she rummages through his pockets for the perfect gift. Nothing. She raises her hand to let the choking, gurgling sounds lure the other 3. Carefully they approach with their bayonets raised and ready. She grinds her teeth in fury and bloodlust. She rolls their comrade's severed head in their midst. A moment of shock, and it's all she needs as she leaps out and drops 2 soldiers with one lash of her axe. The other soldier rushes in with a scream, and she meets him with a sweeping stroke that severs his head clean off the torso. A geyser of blood erupts as his headless torso staggers stupidly back and forth as though searching for its lost head. The torso staggers forward, then pitches backward and collapses. The sounds of another attack reach her before the blade. She lashes left and right, and the body collapses in mangled pieces. The soldier stares at the pieces of his body around him in terror. She laughs and thinks about that story her mother used to tell her. Sorry, Yetso. Can't be put together again.
So is this when Huntress was a little girl? Because I thought her mother died when she was a little girl. Huh. I guess we'll find out.
Anna finds these soldiers curious. Where once the Russians and foreigners were roasting each other alive, they are now working together to survive her attacks. They are calling her a ghoul, a monster of the forest, saying she is a Bodark. Together the soldiers dig pits and sabotage their camp. Anna toys with them. She's outnumbered, and she knows it. She weakens their senses by depriving them of sleep. Every night she approaches their camp, sings a lullaby, then howls like a Bodark. The soldiers wake in a frenzy and scuttle in terror as she returns to her cabin to sleep with her little one. She rests for a few hours and then returns to her little war to reignite a cycle of terror. 1 or 2 sleepless nights and they'll be ripping each other apart. It'll be a matter of walking in and taking what belongs to her little Bushka.
I don't get it. Is this the mother or is this the huntress? Confusing me a little bit. Let's just watch the cutscene. Oh dear. So I'm guessing that this takes place before and after? Or maybe she's just recalling memories of what her mother did. That cutscene though, I understand now. She was referring to the little girl as, the child that she kidnapped. Oh dear. Feels so bad for that little girl. Feels so bad. Alright, on to the next one.
Lazar approaches Dwight and slams his desk. Max didn't work out. He was a weak male I just wanted to crush. Fear, anxiety, confusion. Dwight feels them all. How is this guy the CEO? More than that, he wanted to crush the employee he's replacing for being a weak male. Dwight doesn't even know what that means. Weak male? Who talks like that in this day and age? His hands fidget nervously. He swallows a growing lump in his throat. Lazar smashes his desk again. I need you to be bolder than him, Dwitch. I need you to get the buzz out there that we're the best company in the business. Did he just call me Dwitch? Dwitch. He just called me Dwitch. Dwight's still not sure what he's supposed to be doing at Peak 22. He's a story hook supervisor. He has no idea what that is. Sounds convoluted and made up. Sounds like bullshit. He took the job because he needs the money, and he can't dress up in costumes for birthday parties anymore. Kids can be so cruel. He's supposed to create fake profiles and write positive reviews about Lazar and his company. Lazar gives his desk another thump. Be a lion, Dwitch. Pounce on the internet. Pounce! Get the word out. Peak 22. We designed story hooks for ads that transcend humanity. Dwight has no idea what that means. Lazar leaves a test on his desk and walks away. Dwight stares at the test, unsure. Rose, the manager who hired him, approaches him and explains it's an intelligence test. Lazar wants to make sure he's the smartest in his company. Best advice? Flunk it. Dwight smiles. Gotcha.
Oh dear. I'm not liking this Lazar guy. Hopefully he gets what's coming to him.
Our thing is story hook advertising. Dwight cringes every time he hears story hook. Lazar's trying to be different just to be different. Most advertisements use stories to wrap a message in emotion. Just because you call it a story hook doesn't mean it's new, doesn't mean it's different. Story hook is a term used by high school English teachers. Rose laughs. Yes, but Lazar's an idiot, and he wants to feel like he created his own theory for his upcoming book. Dwight's eyes go wide. Book? What book? Rose laughs absurdly and explains. An autobiographic book, a guaranteed bestseller highlighting Lazar's new theory on creativity. But Lazar hasn't done anything yet. It's all smoke and mirrors. Rose laughs and corrects him. He's done one thing really well. He's burned through millions. Rose changes the subject and tells Dwight he needs to meet Lazar's ghostwriter for an interview. Make sure to shower praises about our naked emperor for his autobiography.
Naked Emperor. Hilarious.
Dwight approaches Rose. She isn't her usual jolly self. Dry tears line her cheek and her eyes are swollen. She tells him Lazar embarrassed her at a meeting when she refused to go along with his jokes at the expense of the sound designer's speech impediment. He humiliated her for not going along with his stuttering impression. Rose sighs and advises Dwight to record all meetings with the Naked Emperor, not just for legal reasons, but for the yearly roast. Dwight raises his eyebrows curiously. Yearly roast? What yearly roast? She tells him about a yearly gathering of ex-employees who get together to laugh at Lazar's stupidities. Dwight tilts his head. He's really confused. In his mind, Peak 22 just opened its doors. How long has Peak 22 existed? Rose calculates on her hands. 5 years. Dwight can't believe his ears. 5 years and Peak 22 has nothing? Rose smirks. Correction. 5 years, and we almost have Lazar's biography and his theory on creativity.
5 years of being absolutely useless.
Dwight showers Lazar with online praise using fake profiles. It's the coziest job he's ever had. As he prepares to create another false profile, he suddenly hears shouts coming from Lazar's office. He freezes as Lazar verbally assaults the Peak 22 lawyer. The lawyer is telling him Storyhook can't be registered. It's a concept in many high school textbooks. Lazar fires the lawyer on the spot. The lawyer promises he'll sue. Lazar doesn't care. He'll settle. He always settles. It isn't his money. And Dwight's heard he's got his benefactors eating out of the palm of his hands. He's already settled dozens of wrongful dismissals. Rose attempts to calm Lazar down, but he screams at her to mind her business. Dwight wants to help her, but he's never made so much money doing so little before. He likes making money doing nothing. But his hands are fidgeting, and his palms are getting damp and clammy. Hearing Lazar verbally abuse Rose is difficult to bear. He imagines all kinds of scenarios where he leaps from his desk to help her. Nervousness fills his bladder, and he leaps from his chair and rushes to the bathroom.
Friends are money, right?
The Brilliant Mind, Inc. Lazar announces the title of his autobiography to the entire office. It feels like a joke, a bad joke, but it's not, and the studio is trying not to laugh at the Naked Emperor. Lazar hasn't done anything in the 5 years since he convinced a bunch of millionaires in his Storyhook revolution. He doesn't even have one successful advertising campaign. They had a few clients in the beginning, but Lazar wanted to write and direct the commercials himself and made a mess of everything. Dwight suppresses a laugh. Rose claps when Lazar concludes his presentation. Amazing, paradigm-changing. How gracious of you to share the secrets of your success with the world. Everyone gets her sarcasm except Lazar. That's the thing about narcissists. They believe their own press release. Lazar turns his attention to Dwight. Dwitch, what do you think? Dwight suddenly feels the blood drain from his face. he echoes Rose. Amazing, paradigm-changing. How gracious of you to share the secrets of your success with the world. Lazar smiles. It's not about ego, Twitch. It's about community and selflessness.
Yeah. Lazar is so naive.
Arcus, 2903. I rose early to experience a few deaths in the archives I recently captured from the Rift. I had some milk from Terra 728. I listened to a radio show from Terra 232, horror stories and tales of terror. I read a new version of Dante's Inferno from... I'm not sure where. I thought of home, had some whiskey, and slept for what felt like an eternity.
Okay. Very short.
Arcus, 437. I'm going to have a couple shots of whiskey from Terra 917, experience a few memories, then head to bed. The warmth of spirits from 917 has always had a way of lulling me away. While it is true this is a cruel fate, an even crueler fate would have been to have been imprisoned here without the Aurus, without the ability to manifest and create and enjoy. It feels strange, as this may seem as the nexus of creation, able to travel memories and cull from those memories without restraint. Helps pass the time. Definitely helps pass the time.
Well, when you're stuck there, you need something to do. And look, they didn't just leave you there. Well, anyways, guys, that's going to be with this episode. Sorry that the Legion's little diary thing isn't working. Hopefully they fix it before the 4th tome comes out. Might be part of the 4th tome storytelling episode. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you all did enjoy this video and you want to see more Dead by Daylight, let me know by leaving a like, leaving a comment. And if you are new, please do subscribe and turn notifications so you never miss out on a video. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Hope you have a good day, and I will talk to you later. Goodbye, everyone.